When weakness feels louder than purpose, there comes a point in life when you become more aware of your body than you ever were before. Not because you are obsessed with it, but because it no longer moves the way it once did. Strength that used to feel automatic now requires effort. Energy fades sooner than expected, and moments that once passed without thought now carry weight. In that quiet awareness, a question often begins to surface, sometimes gently, sometimes painfully. Am I still useful? It's not a question born out of doubt in God. It's born out of experience, of years lived, of battles fought, of responsibilities carried. You don't ask it because you stop believing. You ask it because time has made itself known. Weakness has a way of amplifying thoughts we never had the space to hear before. When the body slows down, the mind grows louder. Memories surface. Comparisons creep in. You begin to measure who you are now against who you once were, and it's easy to feel like something important has been lost along the way. But Scripture never treats weakness as abandonment. God never promised that our bodies would remain untouched by time. He never said strength would last forever. What He did promise was far more secure than physical ability. He promised His presence, His faithfulness, His willingness to carry what we can no longer hold on our own. In Isaiah 46 verse 4, God speaks with a tenderness that cuts through fear. He says that even in old age, even when hair turns gray and strength fades, He remains the same. He reminds His people that He is the one who made them, the one who sustained them, and the one who will carry them. That promise reframes everything. Your value has not decreased because your body has changed. Your purpose has not expired because your pace is slower. God does not step back as strength fades. He steps closer. Where human systems withdraw, God leans in. The world often treats aging as loss. God treats it as evidence. Every year lived is proof of endurance. Every mark of time tells a story of survival, faith, and preservation. You are not approaching the end of usefulness. You're entering a season where dependence becomes sacred. Strength was never meant to be the foundation of your life. God was. So if your body feels fragile, if fatigue arrives sooner than it once did, if weakness feels louder than purpose, hear this clearly. God has not retired His promises. He has not paused His plans. The story is still unfolding. The same God who carried you through childhood, uncertainty, adult responsibility, and unseen dangers is still carrying you now. And He will continue to do so, not until you are strong again, but until you are home. A promise that does not age. Time changes many things, but it does not change the promises of God. Bodies weaken, energy shifts. Abilities that once felt dependable begin to feel uncertain. But what God has spoken does not fade with the years. His word does not wear out the way strength does. It does not lose relevance the way trends and seasons do. God's promises are anchored in who He is, not in what we can still do. When Isaiah recorded God's words, when God said that even in old age He would carry His people, this was not poetic comfort meant to sound nice. It was a direct assurance to those who feared being forgotten. God was making something unmistakably clear. Time does not disqualify you from His care. The language God uses is intentional. He does not say He will simply observe you. He does not say He will advise you from a distance. He says He will carry you. That is not the language of obligation. That is the language of relationship, of commitment, of love that refuses to loosen its grip. There are seasons when you realize that your strength cannot be the foundation it once was. You may still believe deeply, but your body no longer keeps pace with your heart. And in that gap, fear can creep in. Fear that usefulness has ended. Fear that purpose has passed you by. But God never attached His promises to your physical capacity. If He did, none of us would make it very far. The promise to carry you was never conditional on your performance, endurance, or productivity. It was given because He is faithful, because He is consistent, because He does not abandon what He creates. Faith does not expire when movement slows. In many ways, that is when it matures earlier in life. Faith often leans on ability, on effort, on the sense that we are contributing something essential. Later in life, faith leans on trust. on surrender, on the deep understanding that God is enough even when we are not. That shift is not loss, it is growth. You may forget details now that once came easily. You may need help where you never did before. You may feel the weight of limitation in new ways. None of this surprises God. None of it disappoints Him. He knew every season you would walk through when He made this promise. The world measures value by output. God measures it by faithfulness. And faithfulness does not weaken with age, it deepens. As long as you are breathing, heaven is not finished with you. God's promise is still active, still present, still carrying weight in your life. He carried you when you were learning. He carried you when you were building. And He is carrying you now. His promise has not aged, and neither has His commitment to you. When your strength fades, His hands do not. There comes a moment when you realize that strength is no longer something you can rely on without thinking. It doesn't disappear all at once. It fades quietly. Tasks take longer. Recovery requires more rest. What once felt natural now requires intention. And in those moments, it's easy to feel exposed. We live in a world that equates strength with independence. Being able to do things on your own is praised. Needing help is often treated like failure. So when your strength begins to wane, it can feel like something essential has been taken from you. But God has never measured strength the way people do. Scripture never presents human weakness as a problem God needs to solve. It presents it as a place where He chooses to work. Weakness does not repel God, it draws Him closer. It creates space for His strength to be revealed without competition. When your hands can no longer carry what they once did, God does not scold you for dropping it. He reaches in and lifts the weight Himself. His strength was never meant to be a last resort. It was always meant to be the source. Many people spend their early years relying on their own abilities without realizing it. Energy disguises dependence. Health masks vulnerability. It's only later, when strength becomes limited, that we are forced to confront where our trust truly rests. This is not punishment. It is redirection. God allows strength to fade so that faith can deepen, not because He delights in weakness, but because He delights in closeness. When you can no longer rely on yourself the way you once did, you learn to rely on Him in ways you never had to before. And His hands do not tire. While your body grows weary, His presence remains steady. While your steps slow, His grip does not loosen. While your confidence in yourself may shake, His confidence in you does not change. There is a quiet dignity in being carried. It requires humility. It requires trust. It requires letting go of the illusion that you were ever sustaining yourself to begin with. And while that surrender can feel uncomfortable, it is also deeply freeing. You were never meant to carry the weight of your life alone. God has always been the one holding you up, even when you thought it was your own strength doing the work. So if you feel weaker now than you once did, do not assume you're losing ground. You may simply be standing closer to the truth that God's strength has been carrying you all along, and His hands have not slipped. The God who carried you then is carrying you now. It's easy to forget how much of your life has already been sustained by God. When you look back, you may remember the decisions you made, the effort you gave, the resilience you showed. But beneath all of that, there was a steady presence holding things together in ways you couldn't see at the time. You did not carry yourself through every season. You were carried more often than you realize. There were moments when you were too young to understand what was happening around you, yet somehow you were protected. There were choices you made without knowing how they would turn out, and still the path opened. There were dangers you never noticed, losses that could have broken you, seasons that should have ended differently. And yet you made it through. That was not chance. That was God's faithfulness at work long before you had language for it. The same God who watched over you when you were learning how to live has not withdrawn now that living feels heavier. His care did not peak during your strongest years. It did not taper off when your energy did. His posture toward you has remained unchanged. Aging does not place you in unfamiliar territory for God. He has always known every stage you would walk through. He has always accounted for the slowing, the weakening, the changing of seasons. None of it surprises Him. None of it causes Him to reconsider His commitment. If He carried you when you were inexperienced, He will carry you now that you are seasoned. If He carried you through confusion, He will carry you through limitation. If He carried you through beginnings, He will carry you through endings. What changes is not His faithfulness, but your awareness of it. Earlier in life, God's care often feels invisible because strength masks dependence. You move quickly, you adapt easily, you recover without thinking. Later, when strength is no longer guaranteed, you begin to notice the ways God is holding you moment by moment. That awareness is not loss, it is revelation. Your past is full of evidence. Every year you've lived is a testimony that God does not abandon what He starts. The same hands that steadied you when you were uncertain are steady now. The same presence that guided you when you were searching remains close when you're tired. Do not assume that because you feel weaker, God feels farther away. Often the opposite is true. You are not being asked to find new strength. You are being invited to trust the strength that has never left you. The God who carried you then is carrying you now, and He has not grown weary in the process. Do not fear the future. God is already there. As strength fades, thoughts about the future often grow louder. Questions begin to surface that were easier to ignore when energy was abundant. What lies ahead? Will I be okay? Will I be alone? Will I have what I need when I need it? These questions are natural. They do not reflect a lack of faith. They reflect awareness. When you can no longer assume that tomorrow will look like today, uncertainty makes itself known, and fear often tries to settle into that space. But God does not meet fear with vague reassurance. He meets it with presence. One of the most comforting truths in Scripture is that God does not move through time the way we do. He is not waiting to see what happens next. He is already there. He stands in your tomorrow with the same steadiness He stands in your today. When God says He will carry you, He is not reacting to what comes. He has already accounted for it. The future may feel unknown to you, but it is not unknown to Him. Every need you will face has already been seen. Every moment of weakness has already been anticipated. Every place where fear might rise has already been met with provision. Fear thrives on the idea that you will have to face what is coming alone. God dismantles that fear by reminding you that you never have. You are not walking toward uncertainty. You are walking toward a place where God's care is already waiting. He has gone ahead of you not to test you, but to prepare the way. His presence does not arrive late. It does not rush to catch up. It is constant. This does not mean the future will be easy. Scripture never promises that. What it promises is that you will not be abandoned within it. God does not remove every challenge, but He carries you through every one. Aging does not make you vulnerable to God's absence. It makes you more aware of His nearness. When you can no longer rely on your own certainty, you learn to rest in His. The future does not belong to fear. It belongs to the God who has already claimed it. So when questions arise, do not let them convince you that you are unprotected. God has already placed Himself where you are going. He is not waiting for you to arrive so He can help. He is already there, steady and sure. Your body may weaken, but your spirit can rise. There's a quiet truth woven throughout Scripture that often goes unnoticed until later in life. While the body gradually weakens, the spirit does not have to follow the same path. In fact, Scripture suggests the opposite. There are seasons when physical decline creates space for spiritual strength to deepen. When the body is strong, it tends to dominate attention. Life revolves around movement, responsibility, and momentum. But when strength begins to fade, something shifts. Distractions fall away, noise quiets, and the inner life becomes more visible. This is not a loss. It is an invitation. The world often treats physical decline as the beginning of the end. God treats it as a turning point. When the outer self grows weaker, the inner self can grow clearer, steadier, and more grounded than ever before. Strength is no longer measured by stamina, but by trust. Not by speed, but by depth. Your spirit was never meant to rely on physical ability. It was designed to rest in God. There are prayers that come more easily now than they ever did before. Not because words are easier, but because honesty is. When you are no longer trying to prove yourself, Prayer becomes less about performance and more about presence. You are not asking God to use your strength. You are asking Him to be near. And He is. Weakness has a way of stripping faith down to its essentials. What remains is not fragile, it is refined. Fear loses some of its power. Pride loosens its grip. Trust becomes simpler, quieter, and more sincere. You may feel slower now, but you are not smaller. You may feel limited, but you are not diminished. What is happening inside you carries weight that cannot be measured by outward ability. Scripture reminds us that God's power is made visible not when we are strong, but when we are honest about our weakness. Not when we impress, but when we depend. Your spirit is not fading with your body. It is being freed from the need to rely on it. And in that freedom, a different kind of strength emerges. One that does not exhaust, does not compete, and does not fail. A strength rooted not in what you can do, but in who is holding you. Old age is not decline, it is assignment. The world has a quiet way of sending signals about age. It doesn't always say it out loud, but the message is clear enough. Slow down, step aside, make room. The assumption is that usefulness has an expiration date, that relevance fades as strength does, and that later years are meant to be endured rather than entrusted. But Scripture tells a different story. God has never treated age as disqualification. He has consistently treated it as preparation. Again and again, the people He used most profoundly were not the youngest in the room, but the ones who had walked the longest, endured the most, and learned how to listen. Old age is not the season when God steps back. It is often the season when He assigns weightier things. This is the stage of life where perspective replaces impulse, where wisdom outweighs reaction, where discernment has been sharpened by experience. These are not accidental qualities. They are formed over time, and God does not waste them. You may not be called to do what you once did, but that does not mean you are called to do nothing. The nature of the assignment changes, not the importance of it. Influence becomes quieter but deeper. Authority becomes rooted in faithfulness rather than position. Impact is measured less by visibility and more by legacy. Prayer carries a different weight now. Encouragement comes from a place of lived understanding. Your presence alone can steady others in ways words never could. You carry something that cannot be rushed or replicated. Experience shaped by trust. God does not assign tasks randomly. He assigns them intentionally, aligning responsibility with readiness. And readiness is not determined by physical ability alone. It is determined by maturity, humility, and depth of faith. The world may see age as limitation. God sees it as qualification. This is not the season where God winds things down. It is the season where He entrusts what matters most. Quiet influence, intercession, example, stability. These are not small assignments. They are foundational ones. You are not being set aside. You are being set into place. God is not finished with you. There is a quiet lie that often settles into the later seasons of life. The belief that purpose fades when strength does. That once your body can no longer keep pace with your desires, your usefulness must be winding down as well. It's a lie that rarely announces itself clearly, but it shows up in subtle ways. In hesitation and self-doubt, in the feeling that your best contributions belong to the past. But Scripture never supports that conclusion. As long as breath remains, purpose remains. God does not operate on human timelines. He does not retire His people when they grow older. He refines them. He reshapes how their influence moves through the world, but He does not withdraw it. Some of the deepest work God does happens quietly, not in moments of achievement, but in seasons of stillness, not through action, but through presence. When life slows, there's room for reflection, for prayer, for a kind of attentiveness that busier years often make impossible. This does not mean your role is smaller now. It means it is more focused. Your faith has been tested over time. It has endured disappointment, loss, unanswered prayers, and long waiting. That kind of faith carries authority, not because it is loud, but because it is proven. Others may still be searching for certainty. You have learned how to trust without it. Your words, when you speak them, carry weight because they are rooted in experience. Your silence, when you choose it, carries peace because it is grounded in confidence. You no longer need to rush to prove anything. Your life itself has become the testimony. God is not finished shaping you. He is not finished using you. He is not finished revealing His faithfulness through you. Even now, there are people who will be steadied by your presence, encouraged by your perspective, strengthened by your prayers. There are lessons only you can pass on, not because of what you know, but because of what you've lived. Do not mistake quietness for conclusion. God often does His most lasting work in seasons that feel the least dramatic. You are not nearing the end of purpose. You are walking in a form of it that values depth over display, faithfulness over speed, and trust over control. God is not finished with you, not now and not yet. Strong enough to carry you home. Life has changed, but God is not. Your body may feel different than it once did. Your strength may not respond the way it used to. Your days may move at a slower pace. But none of this has altered God's posture toward you. The same hand that formed you, guided you, and sustained you through every previous season are still holding you now. Isaiah's words were never meant to be abstract comfort. They were meant to be personal assurance. When God says He will carry you, He is not offering sympathy. He is declaring commitment. He is reminding you that your life has never depended on your strength alone. From the very beginning, you were carried. You were carried through moments you didn't understand, through dangers you never noticed, through losses that could have broken you, through seasons when you had no clarity, no plan, and no certainty. Yet somehow you endured. That endurance was not accidental. It was sustained, and it still is. The fear that often surfaces with age is not really about weakness. It's about abandonment. It's about the quiet worry that you might be left to navigate the remainder of life on your own. But Scripture directly confronts that fear. God does not step away as strength fades. He steps closer. You are not being released. You are being held. Your life is not winding down into insignificance. It is being gathered into completion. Every season you have lived has mattered. Every step has been seen. Every prayer, spoken or silent, has been heard. The world may celebrate independence, but God honors dependence. He does not measure your life by what you can still accomplish. He measures it by His faithfulness to you, and His faithfulness has not weakened with time. So if you find yourself feeling fragile, tired, or uncertain, let this truth settle deeply into your heart. You are not losing ground. You are being carried. You are not drifting toward the end. You are being guided toward fulfillment. God does not abandon what He loves. He does not drop what He carries, and He does not forget those who belong to Him. The journey may look different now, but it is no less held, no less meaningful, and no less purposeful. The same God who carried you into life will carry you through it and all the way home.